250 years ago, this nation was founded on a promise.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
But here we are in 2026, and we have to ask, what changed? Where is the liberty? Where is the pursuit of happiness? A nation cannot claim freedom while breaking the very foundation of family.
So as America turns 250 years old, this is not just a celebration of where we've been. It is a reckoning with where we are.
And we came up with a plan. Came up with a plan for a call to action. Now that everybody, and in my case, has been following this for 18 months, you're getting more and more disturbed every time you hear another thing that they're able to get away with. Another crime. Another child used as a pawn. But everybody's left, okay, what do I do? What can we do? Yeah, we're trying to change laws. Yeah, we're trying to get new politicians in there. Those are very long balls. What can we do today? And we thought, why not have every victim that hears this voice turn your phone around, press record, and give us 3 minutes of your truth.
Shouldn't have to be spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars to fight in court just to parent our children.
Hello people, I'm Josephine. Nice to meet you all. I'd love to tell you my story, but I'm legally not allowed to because the court ordered it.
Michelle Newell. I'm standing here in Albany, New York, protesting about St. Louis County, Missouri, Commissioner Victoria Mullen McKee, who illegally took my son away from me.
Currently paying child support for a child that I don't get to see, and if I want to see this child, I have to pay $50 an hour on supervised visits. Now, the supervisors are the ones that told me to go back to court and get more time with my child, but when I went to court, and again, I saved all the evidence, I saved all the proof against false allegations, everything that denied some of these claims, which again, for some reason why, I keep handing them to these lawyers, and nobody wants to hear it. They want to sweep that evidence underneath the table.
In 2009, my unborn child, Trent, and I were the victims of a vicious adoption fraud scam facilitated by Tracy Fuller.
This is it. Every other day, I have to be able to take my kids to school, pick them up from school. Therefore, that was taken away from me. I'm out here every other day. Every time I feel so down, to get my stress out by letting everybody know what this lady is doing out of her courtroom. The amount of victims absolutely insane.
When my children were talking about abuse while we were in a visitation, they were told to be quiet, and I said, why are you telling my babies to be quiet? He was like, well, we'll talk about it after. And I was like, I have nothing to talk about. It didn't happen to me. It happened to my children. You never tell a child to be quiet when they're talking about abuse. And basically I was told that that's the rule. And I found out later that it is in CPS's rule that if a child's talking about abuse in a foster home, they're told to be quiet. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You guys are supposed to be protecting children from neglect and abuse. Why are you telling them to be quiet? Well, it was because it was in their care, right?
And I set up the whole plan of defense for my public defender to defend me and help me get my daughter back, or at least help me fight to get my daughter back. And she did nothing with the whole plan of defense that I laid out for her, and she sat in the chair and said nothing. She did not say object. She did not say one word. She did nothing.
As I told you, I do have a pending lawsuit against CYS. Right after I filed my lawsuit in 2021, the director of CYS, she was the director from 2016 to 2021. A month after I filed my lawsuit, she was arrested for endangering hundreds of children. I then find out, after I'm wondering, like, why is this judge doing this to me? This is going far beyond, just showing bias. I find out that the judge is the founder of a nonprofit that promotes adoption that works directly with CYS. The judge took the bench in 2022, but from 2016 up until 2022, the nonprofit had a revenue of $1.6 million.
Lobbying the House and the Senate, and I was successful at keeping the family court judge in my case from being promoted to circuit courts. We asked after that situation for the judge to recuse himself. I kept him from getting promoted to his father's bench. He kept my case and destroyed my life with my child.
Not keep the children together or not go by any means to keep our children with any relatives, and separated them into 3 different foster homes, which hurt the children. They would not return phone calls, and my youngest child, Jessica, has been in the NICU, had brain surgeries, and DCF case managers Shayla, Rodney, the supervisor, and Toya Elliott would not return my calls and denied visitation, and my child was put back on a G2, who was 6 months at the time.
Yes, it's affecting me. I love my kids, but this is doing a lot to my boys. And I just pray that they know that I love them. Thank you for your time.
Hobbs told me I was a liar. That is not the case. I am getting records to prove that CPS did show up and that I am not a liar. Judge Hobbs court ordered me to stop breastfeeding my child.
I'm an alienated mom for 20 years this July due to false arrests and multiple false allegations during my divorce in 2005. On July 18th and July 27th, my birthday, 2005, my children, teenage children, 15, 17, and 18, were used to lie for the father to have me falsely arrested so he can gain access and custody. I also am a survivor of severe domestic violence for over 30 years of my marriage. Today, I am an advocate for parental alienation, and I have helped thousands of people worldwide raising awareness for the family court system to end this corruption. Children are weaponized and targeted as individuals to gain profit for the family court system, using a loving, targeted parent to fight for their children while the abusive parent sits happily enjoying the children.
And we had Miss Anna Lee, who acted as the GAL in my case. I later found out that she's not a GAL at all. She does not have no credentials, no training, nothing that would give her the authorization to investigate children in abusive settings.
In October of 2022, I was successfully able to prove in court that Ms. Antar had committed perjury in her application for a protective order against me, and the protective order was vacated completely. I'm happy to share those documents with folks because I know that those same accusations have been made about countless others in family court, and where they have not been investigated or properly vetted and were still used in major custodial decisions.
And instead of listening to a CPA or trying to get some true information about the situation, the judge just made a ruling and imputed my income to 3 times more than it was. She has made my child support $1,500 a month, which is half of my normal paycheck.
Me and my husband were both arrested. We both got out. Our charges were dropped. no signs of the allegations being true. But they took our kids on May 27th. They didn't put a court order in until January the 9th of 2021.
I'm begging you to please help me get my baby back home where he belongs. I can give him everything.
The judge that signed for my divorce decree was her first attorney, Stephen Johnson. I've been incarcerated for 582 days on a void judgment, on a void divorce decree. The judge cannot be the attorney for one of the litigants in the same matter of controversy under Texas Rules of Civil Procedure.
And why is it when you file for a judge to recuse themselves, the person that reviews and makes the decision is that judge? Yeah, so my son's father, he's a vexatious litigator. He files petitions against me full of lies, and he's granted relief from them. He doesn't have to provide any proof. I've never had a trial. They've stripped me of my right to a fair trial by falsifying the forensic evaluation and by the judge showing very clear bias against me. That stripped me of my right to a fair trial. This is Dutchess County, New York, file number 59994, Judge Denise Watson. My name is Liz Paris, and I demand an investigation.
I have been forced to support my abuser. I am paying him up to 65% of my paycheck, which has been garnished, to pay him alimony, legal fees, and child support based on a number Judge Gandon used of $203,000 going over the cap for no reason. I doubled my income in the year of litigation because my ex-husband was funded and I had to take on 2 jobs just to fight the false allegations against me and keep me out of being incarcerated and losing total custody of my daughter.
The opposing attorney was Garrett Arthur Taylor. He was in collusion with Judge Robert Sambrook as they had worked in the DA's department for years prior to my case. Entered in is the child support judge, Judge Elizabeth Kelly, who increased my arrears illegally by $3,000, and she put me in jail. My children have suffered. Their ACEs scores are high. They have suffered from ulcers and other medical issues. I demand an investigation, and I want full accountability out of these judges and attorneys. Thank you.
I'm not gonna stop until she's safe. Don't ever stop. You know, just whoever's out there, don't ever stop. I know some people are like, oh, I'd kill for my kids. Oh man, this will never happen to me. Well, let me tell you, the shit just blindsides you. It happens to the best of us. You can love your kid. It does, and you think you'd kill if something like this happened, but no, and they're untouchable.
It's also rigged in court for her interest. A lying judge who rejected most evidence that I had. The judge acted more as my wife's attorney than as a transparent judge, a judge that should have stood on truth and wanted to hear the truth. He blocked a lot of stuff in my case. The judge even lied in his reason for judgment, which was mailed to me. No court appearance, no certified mail, nothing. That he didn't see any sexual rape or molestation. I don't understand how he could speak on such when in court he refused to examine the evidence for himself.
It's an extremely corrupt business. Anybody who gets any experience with the family courts has to understand a couple things. I think most important first, it's not a court of law. It's a magisterial court. It's operating as a for-profit corporation contracting with the state. If you can move your case as soon as possible to a federal court, do it.
They blocked Klingberg and New Britain Police Department from testifying in the court.
They lied on the memorandum giving him sole custody, saying that I was vague about the abuse. They omitted so many facts. It's been 4 years since my son's been taken. The disclosure came out in 2019. He was taken from me in 2021.
We'll have it. Let's face it, we all have this trauma. Our children probably have the same trauma we have, just it manifests in a different way. But this has to stop. You know, I have retrained as a Mackenzie friend. I help people now that are in the same situation and going through the same things that I went through. I'm not here to wallow in self-pity. I'm here to help people. So yeah, I've been there. I am an alienated parent. I am a parent who hasn't seen their 3 children for 10 years. Yes, I've been through depression. Yes, I have PTSD. But no, it doesn't stop me. And I have to move onwards, and I have to turn my living grief for children that are still alive that I cannot see.
They put me through the system, and I was not allowed to have witnesses of proof, and they convict me of that. And until 2031, I'm not allowed to come near my daughter.
That judges and lawyers have not only acted in bad faith, but broken rules in the courtroom and out. Ex parte communication, intimidating witnesses, ridiculing me on the stand, creating orders when I have no representation and was not part of a meeting. So those types of things went on for 11 years.
Hello everyone, my name is Mike Stano, and just like the rest of you, I'm a victim of family court, or in my case, Supreme Court in New York State. Having to live through that, but I'm sure family court will be soon enough as well. So my divorce took me roughly 3.5, 4 years, and during that time I lost roughly $125,000, had to claim bankruptcy, lost time with my kids, multiple psych evaluations, and lost a career as a successful teacher, national and state award-winning teacher. And I can empathize with a lot of you. I've seen a lot of the videos, and I don't understand in this day and age, in 2025, why any parent has to fight for equal time with their kids.
I walked in not knowing what the specific allegations were or what evidence would be used against me. My attorney explained that this was a preliminary hearing and that we would go through discovery and we would have a final hearing. He made it sound like it wasn't a big deal. That can't be further from the truth. What I have since learned is that temporary orders hearings in Texas are a backdoor way to get custody of a child, and that's exactly what happened in my case. I do not recall any evidence being presented that day aside from evidence that was given by me, my ex-husband, and my daughter behind closed doors. During the discussion the judge had with my daughter, I objected to it. It was dismissed. I was not allowed to present questions, nor was I allowed to know what was discussed.
Doesn't make any sense, and been trying for 5 months to kind of figure it out. How we're required as parents to take care of our children until they are 18 years of age. It doesn't matter how big the crime is. It doesn't matter how small the crime is. I don't think that, they should keep the parents in the dark. They call us, crazy, but they're the ones making us crazy.
We are out of Kaufman County with Judge Bobby Rich at Court Law 2, and our case involves State Representative Ana Maria Ramos' husband. And so there was lots of corruption in our case and lots of violation of due process, civil rights, constitutional rights, color of law, you name it. They basically checked off the whole list.
Violations began when my ex-husband pulled our children out of a charter school that I was employed at, and they had been on the wait list for 6 months. Instead of holding him accountable for sabotaging our children's education by employment, and putting them at risk for delinquency for tardies, I was held in contempt for putting them back in school, a decision that defies all logic. The most serious of my violation of my rights of me and my children was after I filed a TPO from the local domestic violence shelter. I was not granted a permanent protection order despite meeting everything on the wheel and in the statutes and Caden's law being enacted in Colorado. This put us in further danger.
They find an opportunity to put you in jail. They have tried multiple times. They will put you in jail. I have survived, but there are many others out there that didn't. There are many other parents that doesn't have access to their children. Mom, dad, and they're also scared of what the court system does for them because of the powers of the attorneys and a lot of times the corrupt attorneys. My situation with false allegations of everything that is possible. Child, I'm not going to say the name, would subject my child to invasive procedures, traumatically, multiple times. My experience is not unique. Evidence being suppressed of the truth are not a unique experience.
It has been 2 years since I've spoken to my son, who was 8 at the time of the unlawful removal, which was essentially a last-ditch effort to silence me for speaking the truth about rights violations and unlawful force, to which I have a large paper trail. I was terrified, and so were my children, and we still are, and we're still being tortured by the separation and the fact that my son expected that his mother would protect him. It tears me up inside. All I want is for my son to know that I have not abandoned him.
I've tried to do everything. The system feels broken. It doesn't feel like it advocates for children. It doesn't feel like it advocates for the people involved in it, the parents or otherwise.
I spent 6 years and 2 months incarcerated in my hometown of Grenada County, Grenada, Mississippi, for civil contempt as a result of the child custody case that had already been ongoing for 3 years.
I'm legally disabled. Years of abuse at hands of ex-wife in the state of Washington resulted eventually in my professional career being destroyed, my health being severely damaged. On the top of all that, and on top of the lawless abuse by both trial courts and state appellate courts, the racketeering mafia that is the so-called Division of Child Support has been terrorizing me over this fraudulent debt. It has nothing to do with benefiting children.
In 2024, after I asked for a refund from my lawyer who filed one motion in a civil case for me, it was a protective order case in civil court, she began a pattern of retaliation against me and called law enforcement, accused me of cyber stalking her, and did that 4 times. I've since found out over the past 2 years that she's had 3 clients arrested, including myself.
So there are some definite things going on, and I really think these grant funds need to be investigated and they need to be shut down.
And it really came down to a point where I asked the GAL, what have I done and what evidence is there that she can't stay with me overnight? What evidence is preventing this? And because there was no evidence, I was granted overnight visitation.
At this point, it didn't even matter. My mother was abusive, it's a fact. Nothing was going to stop her, and nothing has. And now she has the chance to do the same thing to my baby brother. I don't want my brother to ever have to feel the way I have because of my mother, but it seems as though the courts are going to make sure it happens to him anyway. I've emailed the ad litem over this type drop-off multiple times, including this one, and nothing is said about it. Nothing happens to get this to stop.
It's unbelievable what happens in this country. And it's unbelievable the psychological abuse you have to witness, and you're powerless to help your grandchildren.
I can state unequivocally that there is fraud in the family court system, and it is very pervasive and very real.
I consider them child abusers, tyrants. They've systematically violated my rights, violated my children's rights, violated access to my children, all for, I just think, greed. money. Nobody benefits from this. It takes resources, time, and fit and loving parents and fit and loving family away from these children.
RM Dr. Smith, I filed a formal complaint against her with the bar. Nothing happened. So I feel for all you guys. I hope you all get your kids back. I'm still very angry about it, mostly at the court people, and also, of course, at them. But I also miss my son, so I love him very much.
This is what happens when I talk about it. Especially if I talk about it too much.
My oldest son and my oldest daughter are from a previous marriage whom I raised alone as a single father. So we can get into that story later if need be. But I did raise them, my oldest daughter since she was a year and a half, and my son since he was 10 months old by myself. Knowing that as well, the judge did not care. So I was told that I would not be able to see my daughter, that the mother has sole custody and sole decision making, that she will be able to move out of state from Colorado to Amarillo, Texas, because that's where her parents reside.
The image of which Kristen's painting of me, of being a terrible father and this and that, when I'm just a victim of this court and system, legal system that we face today.
I'm waiting for my children to be returned home. My children have suffered from physical illnesses like nosebleeds, stomach cramps, vomiting, along with emotional side effects from the trauma that this case has caused. I have been waiting for over a month for my children to return home, even though I've proven that these allegations are untrue. I'm submitting this video in hopes that it helps something.
This emotional pain is way worse than any skirmish, firefight, war that he's ever been in. And we all know that to be true. This stops with our generation right now. It's a spiritual battle, and all we have to do is say no more. It stops with me.
I represented myself in trial. I tried arguing the constitutionality of the case, and I didn't want to be part of the fraud. And they basically deemed me crazy and mentally unstable, along with being violent and dangerous. I haven't been able to really see my son much more than, I would say, 15, 20 hours in the past 3 years. I miss him dearly. This is a tragedy what's happening to me, man.
I'm tired all the time. I'm exhausted. Both parents' time, finances, energy has been taken from our girls. I think if someone saw what was happening in that courtroom, that they would really understand that it's not okay. These people just have so much power.
Trying to find a lawyer, because I know I have to have rights. I raised these children, every single one of them. I was their dad before CPS, and I'm still their dad, and I'm still fighting for this last child. God bless all of you.
They said they were talking about the opening speech, Robert Jackson's famous opening speech at the Nuremberg trials, 1945.
The privilege of opening the first trial in history for crimes against the peace of the world imposes a grave responsibility. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate their being ignored, because it cannot survive their being repeated.
Today, I can make that same speech and just change the very last word from cannot be ignored because it cannot survive being continued. It's already here. We're already living it. Think we're not in a silent war here?
It's the biggest war the world has never seen.
Lawyers, you're not going to sleep a good night ever again. You've been involved in this family terrorism. Your number's coming. We're coming. Good night.
Today, for millions of families in America, the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness has been betrayed.
Parents are stripped of their children without truth, without due process, without justice. The people we were told to trust with our lives and our children's futures have become the ones inflicting the deepest wounds.
This is not the best interests of the child. This is state-sanctioned cruelty. This is life, liberty, and the pursuit of torture.
The question is not whether the system is broken. It is what are you going to do about it? Because freedom is not guaranteed. It is maintained by people who refuse to look away.